Shut up and sit down.
Hey! The power meter battery's flat! We gotta go back!
Old bike, rode it my whole life.
You are listening to the Dialed Podcast with the not-so-aerodynamic Matt Lee Grant,
Sir Ian Gibson,
Lance Hepler, and Jake Von Turing. Enjoy.
Down hillsides.
Watts, bonk, slam, snap, off, tempo, chamois, carback, endo, cadence, hammer, fondo, arrow, threshold, breakaway, century, peloton, and VO2 max.
On my bicycle, singing my song. On my bicycle ride.
Choose your arch enemy from the following list: mountain biker, triathlete, clueless cyclist, motorist, pothole, or gluten.
On our bicycle ride, everyone's had it alone sometimes, but it's better to have a companion ride. Everyone's had it, night goes long sometimes. I love the ride.
Own the road. Motorists will be more than happy to share the road with an environmentally conscious and active citizen like yourself.
Hey, get a car.
Hi, welcome back to the Dial Podcast. I'm Jake Von Turing. I'm here with Lance friggin' Hepler.
Lance friggin' Hepler. What's up, mother lover?
Legend. The legend is in the house.
What up, mother frigger?
How's it going?
Across the table from him, Mr. Matt LeGrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys look fan-frickin-tastic today.
Thank you.
I mean, often you don't, but today is not that day.
Today's not that day.
Today is not that day.
I'm feeling good, so
Feeling
thank you,
good.
Matt.
Feeling the flow.
Yeah.
Doing the dance.
Guess what, guys? We got someone coming back to the show for the fourth time? Or is it the fifth time?
He's
Fourth or fifth
one
time?
of our best
Way too many.
guests.
The one and only Dylan Wiggins. What's up, buddy?
Hey, thanks for having me back, guys.
I like how you had your own horn.
I bring my own sound effects. Thanks.
Yes.
How are you, Dylan?
I'm hanging in. I'm a train wreck, Jake. We don't need to get into that.
Oh, we
Everything's
should
falling
get into
down.
that.
Oh
That's
my God.
exactly why we brought you. We want to feel better about our lives to hear about your train wreck.
Tell me, if you're in a fight with your wife, tell me all the details on air.
Does she listen?
She'll listen to it. I'll go over smoothly.
Love it. Hey, well, I'm sure he's got some things to tell us, and we'll get to that in just a moment here. Maybe in the backpedaling, we can do a little bit of backpedaling. But Matt, why don't you kick us off?
Backpedaling. I've been hitting my Zwift 100-day thing.
You're still on it?
Still on it. What are we at?
Today's the 23rd.
Today's the 23rd. That means that I haven't biked yet today, so I'm 22 days in. That's something.
Attaboy.
That's something.
Good job.
We're getting there.
Well done, Matt.
We're getting there. Yeah, it's been fun. And I'm mostly Zwifting. I think I've been outside a couple times, not much. But Zwifting is
Yeah.
I'm committed to doing this for a while until I fall off the wagon. So we'll see what
Yeah, you
happens.
can do it.
I've done it before. It's
Yeah.
just been a while.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
it'll be great.
Anything else?
That's it. Move on.
Sweet. Dylan, what you been up to, bud?
It's
been a year.
I've been Zwifting too.
Fill us in.
You've been Zwifting?
In December, I was like, I need to change it up. Trainer Road was kind of rubbing me the wrong way. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm going all in on Zwift. Let's see if I can get through this winter.
Do you bring your own workouts or you just go ride?
A little bit of both. What I didn't like about Trainer Road is
Sweet spot. Sweet spot. All
it
the
used
time.
to be that, here's your training plan,
Yeah.
do this. And now they're like, well, do the training plan or whatever you want. I don't care. We'll figure it out. We'll
It's
adapt.
much more AI based now than it used to be, right?
But if it adapts to what I want, we're going to go back to sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to do.
Where's the skip this workout box, right?
Where's the hold me to a higher standard option? It's not there. So
I get that.
I'm still doing, sometimes I'll do like the Trainer Road workout, but in Zwift, so I can actually have something to look at.
Do you export the workout and import it into Zwift?
Ever since I got off Strava, yes.
Yeah.
No, and sometimes I'll have them both running at the same time.
But,
That's what I did
Lance used
when
to
I
do that.
used to do Trainer Road.
Seems like a lot, right?
I'd run them both at the same time. Yeah, it's a little complicated, but the integration is imminent. They're about to announce
Trainer Road.
that Trainer Road workouts you can do them on Zwift. Matter of fact, all the principals at Trainer Road, they've all been uploading Zwift rides with their workouts. So it's not live yet, but it is coming.
So you can do it. You can export and import, but the new part will be the automated, automatic.
New part, it'll be automatic.
Yes.
It'll go right to it if you want to just upload it Zwift. So they've come to some kind of agreement, but for whatever reason, it's not live yet.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll just do like a Zwift free ride.
Yeah.
Be like, give me a route, give me some hills.
Yeah.
There's something to like, there's the end of the hill. So go hard until then.
I 100% agree with you. I'll be like, you sometimes see the elevation thing and I'm like, I don't know how much farther. And then, but seeing the crest of the hill in the,
you can
game,
dig a little bit.
You're like, okay, all right. Stand up for a minute. All right.
Yeah, and then I tried a couple of Zwift races. Those never go well.
Yeah.
It's like a cross race. You sprint to start, and then you keep sprinting, and then you die.
Finish strong.
That sounds about right.
So it is what it is. Once for me, once I got through the first couple weeks and workouts and embraced the suck, where it's just like you're not getting on there to feel fine, you're getting on there to suffer a little bit.
I'm on there just to hit the 100 number. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't care.
That's not nothing.
It's like what's the minimum I can do here to get my 100 day thing?
60 minutes on the dot.
60 minutes on the dot at least double digit wattage.
Okay.
Double digits.
Double digits.
And no subbing out. No pinch cyclist. I'll step in for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll just have Lance over.
There's the coffee stop button. You get a 3-minute break every 30 minutes.
I don't understand that because I was on this yesterday and I was like, it's 30 minutes, check for a coffee break because I had to pee. And then it was like 31 minutes, still no coffee break. 30, and it went to 39 minutes, and then I forgot about it, and I
if you click on the coffee stop button, it tells you how much time you have before you can do a coffee stop.
All right.
You also have to
even on the iPad, or does it
on the iPad?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think you have to stay with the group that you're riding with as well, so you can't fall off of that.
I was with no one.
Okay, so if you started with a pacer bot and you
no.
fell off of that, I don't think it's going to let you use that if you're just doing a free ride. Right, you have to be in some sort of a functional group, right?
Oh, that might be
that's
true.
What it was.
And
that's
then
what it was.
A lot of people were like, hey, I'm checking at 30 minutes. It's not working. It's from when the last coffee break ended. So you have to wait until 33 minutes is when it started. So it's going to be an hour and 3 minutes.
This was because I was just doing a free ride by myself. No one was around.
Nobody was there.
And I'm just like, what? I need a break. I'd like for you to keep working for me.
No, it's just so you can stay with the group.
It records 0 wattage when you take a coffee break. You just stay with.
But you get credit for the time and your average speed.
It's all the time. For me, it's all time.
That's right.
Just coffee break. If I could write some software, which I could write, that
probably
could just send out data to the
hack the coffee break, so you only have to ride.
It would be
3 minutes per hour.
It would just be easier to send over fake Ant Plus data and just have the iPad respond to that fake data.
Real question.
I'm going to win this. I'm going to win this 100-day.
You're going to win, man.
I'm going to win the dialed 100.
Real question. How easy would it be for you to do that?
Oh, I've thought about this for a long time. And I remember being on the podcast 4 years ago when we started and was like, okay, here's what I would do to cheat the system. And I was like, I can't really tell anyone about this because someone will go do it. But I think the easiest thing to do would be add some variability to the watts that you're outputting, so it's clearly not just sitting on 100 watts or whatever, and then have it just kick out that Ant data and then pick it up with whatever receiver, your iPad or whatever. But these things these things exist now, and I think there's been a number of people that have gotten in trouble for it. There's some famous Zwift racer that used something like this, a system like this, to
get a
level up,
to
get the Tron and to get the
right.
Tron bike. He did not use it in a competition, supposedly, but he got busted for using it to get this Tron bike to level
some
up.
kind of bot to
level up.
Level up. Interesting.
So anyway, I think these things exist now, so I feel comfortable. Here's how I would do it, and I would just generate streaming data and plus data.
Even if you do that and meet your 100 days or whatever, the spring's going to come around. You're going to go biking outside. And you're going to be like, why am I still slow?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Because my avatar is really good at bikes.
Either way, there's a good chance, whether I'm riding for real or not riding for real, there's a good chance I'm going to be riding slow in the spring when I go outside. The other thing I thought would be really neat would be take like have a man in the middle where it's like a receiver is receiving Ant Plus data, and let's just say like, just takes that number that's coming out each time and just doubles it. So there'd be no real way, like all the other metrics would be matching, right? Like, so it's like, item ID, like what device is sending all this information, all that stuff would be exactly the same. The only thing that would be doing is like parsing through that, wattage information. Just look for the watts, double that number, and move on. So then, like if you're riding in a race or whatever, you could still slow down, you could still spin it up in sprints or whatever. You would just you could do 1.5 or whatever you wanted to do. Just amp yourself
just
up.
give yourself a knob to turn.
Yeah, like, exactly, right?
I'm
like,
turning the screws here.
Writing that code does not sound that hard.
Maybe not if you're Matt LeGrand.
Man in the middle.
Right.
I'll tell you, when I started racing at PIR, this
Yeah.
is 2016, 2017,
Okay.
I thought this would be a funny idea. I bought the hardware. Like, it's not an Arduino, but it's similar.
Yeah.
And it would just snoop ant data and look for power meters
Oh.
and then rebroadcast with a random number just to mess up everyone in the pack.
Are you kidding?
And
Yeah.
because ant data, like the spec is, it's just going to, broadcast a page in plain text once a second.
Ant Plus is like super open. We'll connect to anything. Give me however many things you want, whatever. It's like super open protocol.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if, your Garmin computer would only listen once a second. Like if you send it now 3 times a second, just blitz it with pages with random data. Like what's it actually going to log? And I thought that would be funny that where a whole pack has their power data messed up except for me. But then once it got complicated, I was like, I'm out.
is too
Also,
much.
is this a felony now? Is what I'm doing?
Yeah. Maybe.
All my
talking
best
about-
ideas end with that. Wait, am I about
Wait
to
a
do
minute.
a felony?
Is this a felony? Dang it, again.
Do I have to
that
go
one
into
off the
hiding
list.
again?
I don't have the mustache to pull this off.
I just don't have the mustache.
I don't think that would be a felony, but if you could figure out a way to tap into the ETAP, start making some shifts.
Oh,
Oh, there you go.
hey guys, ready to sprint?
One of the things that's interesting is like a lot of these companies, we always kind of like gloss over it, but they're like secure Bluetooth or, secure Ant, whatever it is. Like they'll have like this new little, it's like PR blip or whatever about how this is a secure connection or whatever. And so some people are thinking about this stuff.
Well, it's a rule in Europe now. You have to have secure
connection.
They have like the new heart rate monitors out.
And this is not super relevant to our news of the day, but like Ant Plus is basically saying like, yeah, we're no longer investing in this protocol. It's basically dead. It'll continue to exist as it is, but there's no more development on the Ant Plus protocol. So by all intensive purposes, that whole protocol is basically dead going forward.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Everything will be Bluetooth like it is.
Which is kind of how it's been for
Kinda
the
how
past
it's
couple
been.
years.
Yeah.
But yeah, like going forward is officially like, yeah, it's a goner.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to unlock your full potential? I want to introduce you to the Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast, a powerful resource to transform your life today. With expert interviews, practical tips, and inspiring stories, this podcast is your roadmap to lasting wellness. Here's what a listener has to say.
I used to struggle with my health, but this podcast changed everything. It's like having a personal trainer, nutritionist, and life coach totally for free.
With over 2,000 5-star reviews, we're a podcast you can trust. The Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Seriously though, kill button on your Garmin. You hit this button, and everybody
everyone's just-
goes from big ring down to small ring, and the index at the back of that. And like there's like go from like getting ready to sprint to like 150 RPMs, and like, hey, what's going on? And you just take off. You're like, see you
I
later,
feel like that would be
suckers.
super funny.
We got to figure this out.
What
Yeah.
just happened?
I'm
That
sure
could
there's
be a
there's
riot.
I feel like there's a way to do it. We could do that, I'm sure. Same thing, man in the middle attack with you gotta like listen to it before so you can pick up on like how it's signaling across to
Okay,
shifting.
so at the start of the race, everyone has to mysteriously repair their devices.
If everyone could shift from their big ring to their small ring and then back into their big ring
one
at
at
the
a
count
time,
of 3.
one at
At the count of 3, please. Yes.
Hilarious.
All right.
What else you got there, Dylan? More back.
Oh,
pedal.
I don't know.
That was a back
What
pedal.
were we talking about?
Kind of hijacked you there a little
That's
bit.
what I love about having you on the podcast because the
Oh, man.
spirals
It's gonna go-
spiraling out of control are fantastic.
You want to get worse? Meniscus flap tear injury.
Oh.
Something. Yeah.
Little bucket handle?
Not a bucket.
Yeah.
It's like a little tiny guy. I was playing futsal. Everything was going fine.
Okay.
I got over all my pulled calf muscles, which kept coming back.
Yeah.
And my shoulder impingement is still there. Don't worry, it still hurts. But warm up was fine. Hopping from leg to leg, moving around, kicking balls. And then I just stopped to talk to a guy. And the next step I took with my left leg, it was like a toothache in the center of the knee. Just like, oh, I can't put weight on that.
Left knee.
Yeah. I'm just like, what is this? Like, why can't I walk normally now?
Oh no.
So I went and sat down and rested, and then, I'm a dumbass, so I kept playing the game. As soon as the first minute, I was like, I don't think I can put weight on this leg. And I kind of forced myself through it, and it'll bear weight. It's just like, did that hurt? Was that okay? I don't know.
Jeez.
Yeah. So and then I saw PT is like, yeah, I think you got a little something in there. So I'm doing the time-honored tradition of you get prescribed the exercises and do this every day, and then I don't do them, and then I say, why does it still hurt?
Yeah. PT is voodoo. It doesn't actually work because nobody does the exercises. It's fine.
Yeah, at this point, I think he's just messing with me. Like, stand on your head, drink 3 beers, just to see if I'll do it.
Does it hurt when you're biking?
Exactly what I
No,
was saying.
biking is great.
Okay.
I'm even doing like I was doing Zwift races.
So no walking around. You can just bike everywhere. You can bike into work.
Unicycle?
Stop that soccer crap.
Soccer. Yeah, that might actually.
I'm not ready to admit
You're
that.
not ready to commit that.
No.
Your soccer friends are they're not going to like you.
Yeah, but every morning when I walk down the stairs and it still hurts, not today. Okay, not going back.
Go.
Yeah. So I don't know. So now I'm a train wreck physically and mentally.
Perfect.
Thanks, Jake. Thanks for bringing that up.
Excellent. Anything else?
Oh, no. The usual. I don't know. Making content.
Making videos.
Making content once a year.
Oh, wait, we should
whether
talk
anyone
about
needs
that.
it or not.
Dylan
let's do it.
just put out a YouTube video this
Honestly,
last week.
it was so good.
It's kind of brilliant.
It's
It
so
is-
good.
It is
Thank you.
brilliant.
Thank you.
So you need to go to his YouTube page, Quapface2.
Spell that for the listeners.
That's
CWAPFACE.
Exactly like it sounds.
Yeah, Quapface.
Quapface
2.
Yeah.
And there's a little video about the thick crit daddies taking over the gym.
Oh, no.
And it's really
How did I miss this? I usually see all of this stuff.
You need to watch this.
Okay.
It is really good. Like, pause what we're doing. Watch this video. It's unbelievable. It's like I don't want to your documentary was better because there was more time and effort put into that. I know, but this was really, really good as well. Those two things are worth checking out for sure on your channel if people are going there and they want to. And if they enjoy life, if you're one of those people that enjoy life, do you like to smile?
Do you like to laugh?
If you hate fun, don't go watch it.
Don't go watch
Yeah.
it if you hate fun.
It's one of those things where I'm looking at that and I'm like, why his channel should have 1 million subscribers. It's so good.
It's good.
Well, thank you. And I wish I could say, with a shorter video, it's 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's not.
And it's really stupid. I wish I could say it took me less time and effort.
Right.
But
That's what
maybe it
happens.
took more this time.
It took a long time.
So the premise is that we go invade Endurance PDX. Jason Whittington graciously offered to host us. He's like, hey, you guys want to come film a video? I got new gym equipment, new building. And
That's even better.
because we're so, quote, organized, it took us 3 months or 4 months to
To
make
get it
happen.
together.
And then we're there for 3.5 hours, and I'm not pushing stop on the video because you
It's
have to
all
sync
fun.
it up
Stuff.
audio and video, and
Yeah.
it's so much easier if you just do it once. So I have 3+ hours of video to go through to find out just the good bits because there's so much stuff that cannot be posted online.
I bet.
There was stuff that was right on the border too.
Oh, yeah.
But it was still so
But then I
good.
discovered the mosaic filter you can put over stuff.
Yeah.
It's now we're gonna get.
The mosaic filter. Yes, there's only
Saves the
one
day.
clip of that, right? But you're just like, oh man.
But there should have been 6 or 7. The goal,
so
I mean,
good.
everyone has their goals with their project. My goal is that you can pause it at any frame and look at it and go, what the fuck?
Yes.
what is happening
what is
there?
it?
I did watch it more than once, and if you do that, if you watch the video, because it's not very long, but if you watch the video, you're gonna be in stitches laughing. Watch it again, because then you're gonna be like, I didn't catch that the first time, and I didn't catch that the first time because there is so many funny things. I bet you I could watch it a third time. I haven't watched it a third time, but I bet I could, and I'd still pick up on stuff.
There's lots of pseudo lifting. There's lots of Rainier beer drinking, and there's lots of video of Jason just shaking his head like, why the hell did I invite you people to
I mean, the idea is that we're, the dumbest cycling team. We're all the, toxic masculinity, big energy. We forgot how to ride bikes because we're too busy in the gym. And, take it too far. Like, we're just going to drink beer during our workouts and smoke cigars.
Yeah.
So it's real bad. And what I like, some of the lifts, if you look close, like, I think Tankus is he's got the straps on his wrist to do the deadlift, but he's just pulling on the straps. He's not pulling the bar. He's doing it completely wrong.
No. I saw that. I did notice that.
Okay,
the straps are holding the bar.
Don't do anything we do in the video.
You're like,
it's terrible.
Not sure if that's perfect gym form.
Yeah.
The video is good when the discussion about the video is longer than the actual video itself, right? It just begged for dissection. So
here's my critique in 12 parts.
We should have you dissect. We should have the video in front of us, and you should be dissecting it. And yes, this is stupid. And
let me tell you why.
What the? And absolutely yes. Oh no, that's not proper workout form.
No,
the real heartache for me is that we put together a draft. Okay, some things need to change, and then all the time syncing up the music and making that right, and then when we're about to release it and everyone's happy with it, like, oh, are we going live with this? I'm like, oh wait, kids are gonna see this. Are we saying smoking is cool? I hope.
Did you cut out all the smoking?
No, we doubled down on it.
all the not safe for kids got doubled down on.
I think we're even doing sprints on a Wahoo bike while smoking. I think that's in there. Yeah, or chugging Rainiers while you're doing curls. So I hope the satire is clear on ourselves, but man,
it's clear. It's clearly satirical.
The impressionable youth.
This one of the first scenes is him doing what
bent over rows,
bend over back, rows for the back with half a case of Rainier.
Yeah, that's
beer.
David Rattan. That guy's freaking hilarious.
They're all
so good.
All of it was good. So good.
And that's the challenge, is that when you have 3 hours of footage, an hour and a half of that is David being extremely funny. I can't make an hour and a half long video.
It's all David.
Sure you can,
right?
Yeah, there'll be a director's cut coming out at some point.
Okay, good.
I just checked my YouTube notifications, and sure enough, there it is. It was released yesterday.
Yeah, we did a big premiere and everything. Where were you?
I was there. I was at it.
I went to set it to public, and you can do scheduled premiere. It's like, oh, we're doing this at 5 p.m. Build the hype. And still at the premiere, it was just like the 4 of us or 5 of us.
Hey, that's good. My premieres don't do well. I quit doing them because I was like, oh, this is sad.
It's just more stress, right? Anticipation.
Oh no, there's no one here. Oh well.
Does it show you how many people are there ready to watch? Do the other people that are there ready to watch know how many other people are there ready to watch, or is it just you that sees that?
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's shows live who's there. So
okay.
Maybe if it's under a certain number, they don't show me.
If it was under, they should hide it.
But I like that there's a live chat, so you can all just post your stupid gifts in there.
I love it. Cool. Fun.
All right,
that's it. No more. Yeah,
wow.
Lance,
that was good.
Lance Romance.
Dr. Lance Hepler. Lance Romance.
Lance doing the dance.
International Man of Mystery.
Podcast. They don't get to see this.
They don't get to see me dancing.
Everyone, look at his face right now.
Oh my gosh, guys. He's taking his pants off. He's taking his pants off to do
Theater of the mind.
Theater of the mind.
Romance.
Okay.
All right. It is Dr. Lance Hepler, Lance Romance, the International Man of Mystery. What did I do this last week? I rode Zwift. That's all I've done.
Yes.
Oh no!
No, you did a 2-bridge loop.
Yeah, was that part of our last back pedal?
No.
Was it after?
After.
I can't keep track of it all. Okay, I did one right outside and then twice on Zwift. So I'm just sticking with my plan, and the plan is working, and I'm doing the work and whatever. So we're rolling with it.
Okay.
I've got a. What's that?
No,
shortest back pedal ever from Lance.
The shortest back pedal. I've got a big week coming up. I'm hoping to have like a 30-hour week next week, and
Tenerife.
so I'm going to Tenerife. I leave tomorrow.
Whoa,
that's a long trip.
So
is Ian coming from England?
Ian's going from England.
Okay,
and me and Surratt are leaving tomorrow.
Nice.
So,
tomorrow. Okay.
So
How long are you there for?
We're there for 7 days.
Joke's on you. Look, the weather's perfect here.
No, it's even getting warmer next week. And there's no rain in the forecast for the next 10 days here.
Oh, wow.
So
Love
joke
it. So
is
that means,
on me.
yeah, when you get back, it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, it's just
Actually, I think that we've got snow in the forecast for the week that you return.
Oh, fantastic. Even better. So
cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Yeah, but I really got nothing to report other than I'm still posting daily vlog videos and some are doing good and
let's
some of
talk
them are
about that.
trash. What do you want to hear?
I want to. Okay, this is top of mind for me. How do you drive in the van? I don't know, 12 hours to a race and then ride that same day. How do your knees not explode? How can you do that? How is that possible?
Oh, that's a pretty good question.
Collagen injection while you're driving.
That's right. I'm loaded up on steroids and collagen the whole way down.
Do it. Right at that. We got him.
I'm cautious about taking breaks when I drive, and the van is pretty comfortable to drive. I'm not like laid out like in my other car. You're kind of upright, and so you can stretch a little bit while I'm driving that car. Which
So you got one foot out the window, other foot up on the dash.
something.
Sleep at the wheel again.
But and I generally stop while I'm driving somewhere to get out and ride just a little bit or a little something. Or we take when I'm driving the van, I try to do 8 hours of driving, 8 hours of sleep, and 8 hours of something else. Unless there's a schedule to be on. That 8 hours of something else is eating and
biking,
and
breaks.
bathroom breaks. And wait, there's a cool rock hounding spot. And whoa, I want to see the International Car Forest and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I try to do it. But unless there is a deadline, then I'll drive for 13 hours straight. So
and then what? Then you're just sore when you get out?
I'm just stiff and sore and curl up in a little ball. And
I've tried doing PIR after driving from Seattle, and that's just 3.5 hours, and my knees can't take it.
Just trash.
Yeah, that's a me problem. How long does it take you to edit a video and upload? Is that like an hour a day?
I'm trying to keep it to an hour. That's why
explains a lot.
That's why the editing is trash.
Is that why they're so crappy?
That's why the editing is trash.
You went one direction.
So I went.
It's a choice.
You two went a different direction. Listen, if there's one thing I've learned is the time suck from you two from editing. How much? Actually, it's all three of you. Yeah. There is a giant time suck with editing, and so I went cheap and dirty with my edits.
Smart.
So that's what I'm kind of trying to do.
Maybe we could talk about color correction on some of your...
Don't know what you're talking about.
First step, let's get After Effects open. Let's
just fire that baby up.
You still speaking Greek. Yep. Don't understand a word you're saying.
So Jake, are we gonna tell him that this is the intervention?
This is the YouTube editing intervention right now.
Don't do what we've done. That's the intervention.
Please.
Whatever you
it's
do.
a dangerous road.
There's probably some AI stuff out there that could help them make it a little bit more polished looking, but still not to the level that you guys do. But I don't know. Just a thought.
I am not trying to do what all three of you do is freaking amazing with your editing.
You mean go overboard for...
No, let him continue. I want to hear more.
Just that it looks polished and it looks right, and the transitions are good, and it always looks good, and there's all this unique stuff that you've personally built that you pop in. Yeah, I'm not doing any of that
seems
crap.
Like a good use of our time.
I'm like, oh, here's a good section on this video. Oh, here's a good section. Oh, maybe I should add a little bit of music. Oh, that's way too much. So I don't know what I'm
smart.
doing.
Stay smart. Keep it to an hour.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep it to an hour.
In your defense, Lance, though, vlogging is making a big comeback right now, and people are looking for that more raw, unedited look. So it feels a little bit more genuine and authentic. It just needs to have a good, storyline and pacing.
It needs to have a storyline and engagement. That's the hardest thing for me is I did a boring hour and a half Zwift ride this morning. What's the storyline there? So
tell a story.
I'm telling a story about nutrition, which maybe will be funny. So
there you go.
Instead of doing your just normal hour filming yourself Zwifting, get naked and get on the train.
Perfect.
shock.
Everybody wants to see that.
Is there no middle ground? Please.
Dylan would be happy to edit the mosaic thing over there. Yeah.
Where do you find the mosaic thing? Because that can become very.
I don't know.
Make him
Very
do it
important.
for you, and he's got a pixel peep, and he's got to do it frame by frame,
I'm
right?
sending you my naked videos.
You'll be in full kit, but it'll be black bars across.
Okay, perfect.
Let your mind wander.
Love it.
Yeah, I could see this channel getting big.
Well, and I would never say this to Lance's face, but those videos are fun to watch. They're short, they're
enjoyable.
consumable. I like watching multiple, like getting caught up while I'm on the trainer.
They're not super long, which is nice. They're not like
Doing like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Is
You're
all I'm
already
doing
doing the cool stuff, like when you find the rocks. It's like if
yeah,
you
I do like that.
if you add another 20 seconds about like this is why I think this rock is cool, and check out and an update 2 weeks later, I polished it up or whatever. And
Yeah.
check it out. Like
I should do that.
I'm into that.
I know. I kind of like the rock hounding stuff too. I like to learn about new stuff.
I want to know more about your arcade machines in your basement.
And
Those are
I
pretty
played some
sweet.
Asteroids Deluxe this morning. So.
Ooh.
Did you film it?
I did film it.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right, here we go.
I
That's
filmed a
good.
piece of it. So
Yeah, you can tighten up that Zwift section of your thing and then talk about some other stuff.
yeah.
Does it keep you accountable if you're like, man, I should bail on today's workout, but then I have to make a video about
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, it does. And like, okay, let's ride somewhere that's a little interesting that I know I could tell some kind of story about this, unless it's 28 degrees like it was this morning, and I'm just getting on the trainer. But it'll change the routes that I do too, because maybe there's somewhere a little bit interesting that I could actually ride to. So
Let's talk about your Tucson video.
Which
Sorry,
one?
am I hijacking your bike pedal?
Yeah.
I don't
Please.
care. I don't care. Mount Lemon. That was so. I lived there for a year,
You lived in Tucson.
and I thought driving up and down Mount Lemon was insane and took forever. So I can't. And I wasn't into biking at all back then. So it looks like such a fun climb.
It's a great climb.
Yeah,
I
and then
actually did not catch good video, I believe, of the climb and descent, but
Your descent.
think the descent
If you
was-
see Lance's
Yeah,
video, the
yeah, I
descent
watched
is
the
great
descent.
because it's sped up. You can tell how smooth it is and how flowy and how long it is. It looks
Yeah.
like a great descent.
it is a fun descent. It's pretty safe because it's not like really tight corners or tight switchbacks, so you can just fly at 35
And I
miles an
didn't
hour.
see much traffic in your video, but
No,
maybe that
there's
depends on
not.
time of day. I don't know.
It was a Thursday
Yeah.
in the morning, so
Maybe,
there probably
maybe
wasn't all that
Saturdays
much
have more
traffic.
traffic. I have no idea.
Yeah.
When you're
Saturdays.
doing that shootout, is there traffic there too?
There's literally almost no traffic on the shootout. Yeah. Once you
Sweet.
get out of town, I saw like 4 cars on the main road that the shootout is on. There's very little traffic. It doesn't really, the road you're on doesn't really have a destination. Like the city that's midpoint, Sahuarita, I think is called. It's not really the straight way to get to Sahuarita. You could take the interstate.
Right.
And so nobody's on this other little country road that has beautiful pavement. So
Nice.
that's why the shootout works.
Or what? The buttery smooth gravel,
Right.
also with no cars. Is that
Yes,
right?
That's right. There's also no cars.
And don't they have like 100 miles of dedicated bike path around Tucson?
Yeah, there
Yeah.
is.
I need to get back
The loop path around Tucson is about 60 miles, and it's all dedicated bike path. Yeah, so
And it's all 72 degrees and sunny all winter long.
it's not quite that warm. But
What are we doing in?
what am I? I'm going back as soon as I get back from
Yeah.
from the islands.
Are you going to go back to Mesa? Are you going back to Tucson? Are you going to do both?
I think I'm going to Mesa first because I might do the Valley of the Sun stage race, the
Okay.
road stage race, and then there's the Tucson Bicycle Classic the next weekend, which is also a 3-day road stage race. So I might go do those.
Are you bringing wife
two.
and dog on this
Wife
trip?
and dog are coming.
All right.
Yep.
Sounds
So,
good. And
When
then-
you're in Tenerife,
Stay
are we
tuned.
going to get your video updates? Do they have internet
Yes.
over there?
The apartment we're staying in has internet, so I'm hoping that I can put something out every day. I'm still going to try to put something out every day, but
Are you going to put out flight like today was just flying to Tenerife?
yeah, that's tomorrow. Maybe.
Okay,
I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay
Subscribe.
tuned. Wait,
Subscribe. Turn the notifications
Turn
on
subscribe
to find
and
out if he
notify.
posts a video tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Jake, you got any backpedaling?
Just rode on Zwift.
Zwift,
Pretty
in
much it, yeah.
We all just rode on Swift.
I mean, we
I think I saw you.
we just recorded what, 2 days?
It was 3 days.
3 days ago?
Yeah.
So not too much has happened, but I did ride last night. I felt pretty damn good considering the fact that I had about 4 hours and 50 minutes of sleep the night before, which was not ideal by any means at all. And I was exhausted. I'm like, nope, I got to go do this. Got on the trainer, and 5 minutes later, I'm like, I feel like $1 million right now. Everything felt great. So I just kind of like locked it in and went. Fun.
I'm kind of cranky that Jake feels good because then it's like, damn it, we can't ride together.
You've already missed your window.
Yeah, we can always ride together, Matt.
All right.
Just the two of us. Let's go for a bike ride.
It'll be a chill bike ride for you.
So yeah, there's not much else to report from me. So let's
Whoa. Champ Bailey coming in hot.
Champ is here. All your terrible cycling news. World's worst cycling podcast.
Or top five.
Or top five. I'm one of those two. Okay, what has happened in the last few days since we did this? The Tour Down Under for the men has started. So far, I don't hardly recognize a name in this race.
The race yesterday, though, was pretty interesting. Who's the rider? Gosh, I forget his name. From Bora Hansgrove? Like halfway through the race, he went down pretty hard.
Sam Welsford. He's on Bora Hansgrove? Is he? Maybe. Yes, he is.
So anyway, he goes down, his kit's all torn up, he's a little bloody and all that stuff.
His hanging out.
And, the race is going off, right? And he still gets back on, and he somehow manages to pull himself back up to the peloton and won the race.
He had a perfect lead out from two of his teammates and just out sprinted everybody else. Yeah. He kind of won handily. So he won 2 days in a row. He won day one and he won day two. Mm-hmm. Day three has already happened. He did not win day three. There was a little bit of climbing in today's stage. So he is out of the leader's jersey. But I think today was won by Javier Romo. Yeah, Romo. So first time ever world tour win. And so far, it hasn't been too exciting other than seeing Welsford win with his butt hanging out because half his kit was missing.
Living the dream.
There it is.
It all comes back to nudity.
I would.
A lot of nudity on this podcast.
Coincidence?
No coincidence. Other than that, I have nothing else to report. Champ out.
When is the first monument race?
I don't know.
No idea? I mean, it's
Why would he know that?
Somewhat soon. It's got to be probably, about a month away or so?
Yeah, while you're looking, someone tell me, is the tour worth watching? Sometimes there's snoozers, right?
Tour Down Under?
Tour Down Under.
It's worth watching the highlight videos.
Okay.
They generally don't send very many A squad guys down there.
They do show like groups of kangaroos running through vineyards and running into each other. I saw that today.
Ooh,
so
I'd watch that.
Anything, Matt? You looking it up? Lance,
I'm trying to find it. The first one, oh, come on. No, I don't want to.
Do you have that technical difficulties, hold music?
Yeah.
Gotta work
what
on
is
that.
happening here? Omloop, Het Neuzenbalt, whatever. Saturday, March 1st is the first one.
Okay, so they're not in February.
So they don't start till March.
Okay, so we have
March
a little bit of
1st, yeah. Kern, Brussels, Kern. Strade Bianche is March 8th. So it all starts in March.
Starts in March.
April.
Cool.
Yep.
Sweet. All right. Thank you, champ. Matt, anything in the triathlon world? No?
Not that I know of.
We haven't talked about the triathlon stuff. So.
I know. I haven't been following the triathlon news stuff super closely, but this is kind of a dead time of year for triathlon.
Okay.
Picks up in the spring and summer for sure.
Gotcha. Cool. All right, let's keep moving on. Patreon time. Lance has got the little jar. He's going to pull that out. Why he's doing that, we have a new Patreon. You guys all say hi to Nate Scott. He's our latest
Nate
Scott.
So dreamy.
Yep.
I love that guy.
He's a monster, dude.
He's a monster.
Dad Watts right there.
He hurt himself like midway through the cross season last year and had to kind of bow out. But he built a cyclocross course in his yard.
Yep, that's how he hurt himself.
Come on.
I heard he's a fabulous drummer too. So Nate Scott, my man.
Yeah. Anyway, we got
let's go.
Patreon drawing
Dylan's
here.
picking out a
pulling
name.
somebody's name out of the bin there, and they're going to get to pick some cool things out of the cash. Not the cash. We don't have any cash for them. The Patreon bin. We've got a bunch of cool stuff in there. So who do you got?
Misty Wick.
Oh, Misty Wick.
Misty. Thank
All
you,
right,
Misty.
Misty, you know where to get that from. So, congratulations. Thank you for supporting the podcast, and we greatly appreciate it. If you want to become a Patreon, I'm going to turn that music off so people could actually hear me talking. If you want to become a Patreon yourself, you can go to dowdpodcast.com, and there's a little link there that says Patreon. You can click on that and click a Patreon that you want to, use or support us with, and that would be fantastic. It's just a couple bucks if you want to get a little bit more, I don't know, friendly or a little bit more generous with your money. There's other options there too. However, there is another way that you can support the podcast through our new platform that we use, Buzzsprout, which has been pretty cool. They've actually got a feature on there that you can use to support us as well. But anyway, we do appreciate everybody. It's pretty awesome that you guys are still listening and helping us out. And yeah, thank you. And a big thank you again to Nate Scott for doing that. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Nate.
Ready to move on again?
Yes. So much.
I did it with nothing but my own blood, sweat, and tears, and extra blood.
People don't. Yeah. This is a sport with literally hundreds of dollars on the line and dozens of fans. The stakes are medium.
Come on. How do you beat the man on drugs if you're not on drugs?
Wait, did you just admit to being on drugs?
The EPO Chain Mail. Send us a text with your questions. Forward this podcast to 15 people, and you'll lose 10 pounds overnight without even trying. You've got mail.
Hey, we've got mail, guys.
Jake, did you put that together? That was really good.
I did. Thank you. I'll shorten it up a little bit sometime in the next couple of years. So I'm going to get around
Make
to
it
it.
longer.
We like it.
Anyway, our EPO Chain Mail has got a few more texts that we received from some folks, and it's actually going to be our topic for the week as well. It's kind of ironic that two of the texts that came in from two different people in two different states were kind of in line with each other in terms of what they were asking us. But before we get to those, we do have somebody from Alaska that was saying, "Hello, gentlemen. This is AI. I wanted to say that I approve and endorse episode 355 of your podcast. Keep up the great work. I look forward to more."
Our last podcast, we talked about AI, and Jake and I are super bullish on AI. I'm glad that you're not, because we need differing opinions.
All right, I had to expand that. I said, I look forward to replacing you all in the near future. So AI's coming for us.
We won't have to show up anymore. Jake can just say,
for sure,
do a podcast. Use our voices.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next two, the first one comes to us from a listener in Colorado Springs. Kind of cool.
That's cool.
Would you mind speaking to suggestions for maintaining some sort of fitness for a first-time parent with a newborn? So, yeah, we all have kids. How many kids do we have between all of us?
I have 3.
2,
3.
3.
Okay, so that's,
Matt
that's
has
11.
3.
It's 11 between the four of us.
And you have 2, Dylan.
that I know of.
That's
Two
a good
claimed.
point. Good point.
11 question marks.
So we got 11 known.
11 known children.
So we've gone through this 11 times. So we maybe hopefully have a couple little tips or suggestions for that person. But before we get into this, the other person writes and says, all 4 of you are busy husbands and fathers as well as successful athletes. Successful athletes.
Wrong podcast.
Can you all share any wisdom gleaned over the years on balancing family life with training and racing? And they signed off Dad Watts.
Dad Watts.
And they're from Albuquerque, Oregon.
Oh.
There's an Albuquerque in Oregon?
What is that?
I asked Lance that too, and he's like, I didn't know
Lance,
there
you're
was
supposed
such
to know all of these things.
Anyway, those are the two
All right.
questions. So
So-
that really kind of boils down into what did you guys do during that process of having kids and training and trying to stay on top of all of that and then manage it as they got older and busier and
So a couple things. This is just like the general how to balance family life and training. I think it's interesting that there's kind of 2 different questions with a little subtle difference there. One being like newborn, which I will say is a different scenario than like the rest of life with family and kids, right? Because newborn is like you're in the thick of war. Your head is down and you're right in the thick of dirty diapers. And this is the whole like sleep when you can. Showers are totally like
optional
or non-existent. And yeah, and it's okay to let your training slide in that situation. Whereas longer term, my suggestion is to find a balance and you don't have to make a deal with your partner, but like one of the things that's nice is both my wife and I really, we see our exercise time as like a needed, almost like therapy time, right? Where it's like, this is your chance to be away. And my wife is better, nicer when she's had a run.
Yes.
And same for me, right? And so we encourage each other to do that. And it's not, I like to think that I don't think there's too much like jealousy, like, oh, she's out running and I'm taking care of the kids or whatever. It's like, go, like, I got this, you go take care of, like, go get a run in, like, go sneak it in. And I mentioned running because running is faster than cycling, but yeah, I mean, you can try to, I think an hour is a sweet spot for like getting a bike ride in and getting something done. I would say you might not be able to get, 6-hour rides in. Those are a little trickier. Especially if you have a newborn, but yeah, I mean, set realistic goals. Anyone else?
I mean, obviously,
Dylan.
step one is invent a time machine.
Yes.
Go back about 10 or 11 months and make some different choices. 'Cause
Yeah,
you
right.
got to think about your cycling career here.
You gotta think. You're like, if it could just go back and never mind. I'm not going to even say.
I mean, that Masters 3-4 field. That's serious competition,
right?
Yeah, I like you said with newborns, all bets are off. You're trying to keep your head above water, so I don't know. Readjust your expectations for the year. Like, what does success mean for a successful year of cycling?
Yeah.
Is it winning races? Is it traveling to a stage race, or is it getting to ride once a week with buddies?
Yeah.
Recalibrate.
And also, I do think that if you have something big and you put it on the calendar and your family, like one of the things that I would do with Ironman races, I would be like, get the family permission. Like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this Ironman. I haven't signed up yet or anything like this. This is when the date would be for this thing. Like, my wife knows, like, oh, well, that's a year of training where I'll be gone a lot of Saturdays and like doing these long things. Like, you kind of have to get buy-in from the whole family before even doing it. And sometimes you might not get buy-in, and that's okay too. But, I think that you kind of have to have those discussions prior to signing up for something. Or if you're setting goals, you can adjust goals. They're easy to adjust.
Yeah, or do a self check. Is my name Keegan Swenson?
Yeah.
If so, I need to prioritize training because my livelihood is these races. If not, maybe my family might come first. I don't know.
Hard to say.
Yeah.
Hard, tricky.
Yeah, no way
tricky.
to tell.
No,
But also,
without,
I mean,
without looking at a license plate.
that molar coming through your baby's
Yes.
gums in 3 or 4 months, like that doesn't care about your race schedule.
It's going to disrupt things.
Yeah.
What did you guys do when you had your first? Did you guys just like stop everything and just fully focus on that, or were you still trying to find some sort of balance there where you're getting some training in?
I remember thinking like, this will be this is how dumb I am. I remember like literally saying like, oh, it's cool. I'll just take care of the baby while I work and in front of the computer. Like, it'll be fine. Like that means
I'm going
like,
to push a stroller. While
it'll be great. Like I'll have the baby, I'll put the baby down, get my work done, pick the baby up sometimes. Like I just thought that it was going to be easy. And that's just, can't
So
believe
not the
that.
case,
Like,
yeah.
It was like your whole day is just swamped by this little being that just needs everything. So, I think that I think during that first kid, my thought was like, and I don't know if like we had like a official discussion, but it was like, go get a 2-mile run in each day. So if you guys are not runners, that's fine. 2 miles takes like 15 minutes. 15 minutes per day. That's what I got. Like
that's it. Yeah.
I had my little route that I did with the dog. We were, my wife also loved the dog. So it was like, yeah, you go do your 2 miles. And that was it. And it was fine. And I was not super fit, but.
Well, I don't want to hear what Lance has to say, but I will just say, to stay flexible in your plans and not stick to expectations. Maybe an example is like, I put this on the calendar for next Saturday. I'm going on a ride with buddies.
Yeah.
Or, we talked about this 3 days ago. It's like, okay, but we got your partner got no sleep last night and is at the edge of her rope and does not give a shit that it is on the calendar and that you planned ahead. Like
True.
you have to be prepared. Like, guys, I can't go. I'll make up the time some other way.
Yeah, that's huge for sure. And the other, I feel like newborn is a weird situation where, like, I remember when you first get this baby home, like time just operates on a different scale. I just remember being like, I'm in my pajama pants. It's 5 p.m. It's not because I put them on early. It's because
I haven't gotten out of
we
them.
haven't done it. Like, I just remember thinking like time was just like totally different for a big block of time when you had this like new baby.
Every night lasts a million years. And yet,
Yeah.
when 6 months go by, you're like, what happened? Lance, what'd you do?
I had a very different lifestyle when I had newborn kids. So when my first 2 kids were born while I was in dental school.
Oh, wow.
So recently married, we'd been married a year and a half before we had our first child. And so I'm in dental school. Dental school was 120-hour-a-week commitment, not just class, but labs. And it was a gigantic commitment to get through dental school. So I had kids during that. What the hell?
Idiot.
Kristen was a resident during during Ethan when he was born. So
yeah, very similar. I was fat and slow when my kids were newborns. That's the gist of it. I don't know how to soften that. I had a very difficult time.
What is he now though?
I'm also fat and slow now. I found that early on in my career, and I've probably discussed this before in my life, but I was only ever really good at balancing like 3 things at once. When I tried to add a 4th thing, things started to suffer on all rest of the fronts. And so my family was very important to me. My career was very important to me, and church was very important to me. So during that time when I was in dental school, those are the 3 things I was balancing. What did I leave out? Athletics, fitness.
Yeah.
So I was 240 pounds.
Yeah.
I was a big boy.
That's 2 Lances.
That is almost 2 Lances, not quite.
I think I had this friend that like we were really good friends growing up, and then we ran collegiately, and we would talk all the time. We'd be like, we'd have these 3 things that we're trying to balance. It was school, girls, girl relationships, whatever, and athletics. And he was like, I can keep 2 going. I can never have 3 going at the same time. Like you can never get that balance. I thought that was very funny.
Is that girls or is that things?
Sorry. This was like the 3 of those 3 things. But
kidding,
yes, he also multiple girls. Yes.
Maybe that's why he couldn't get the 3rd thing going, because he mentioned too many females in there.
That's right. So anyway, during dental school and the early parts of my career, that's what I was focused on, was those few things. Yeah. And so I started doing triathlon shortly after graduating.
Once a triathlete, always a triathlete.
Because now you have 120 hours a week to put towards triathlon.
That's right. Well, once I got out of dental school, I was only spending 60 or 70 hours a week actually working on my business and focusing on trying to make money somehow to support my family, which was the most important thing to me. And so when my kids were little, I found that when my kids were between newborn and like 6 or 7, they took an enormous amount of time.
Yeah.
Between 10 and 13, I found they didn't take quite as much time. And that's when I did triathlon. Why? That's a whole nother story.
Because triathlon's awesome.
Triathlon sucks.
I am a very competitive person.
Damn it.
You knew this was coming.
And I certainly am always motivated by doing certain things. One of them is being a triathlete, trying to be the best type of triathlete that I can be, and try to be as fast as I can be, as competitive as I can.
That's a great speech.
That's a great speech.
Everyone.
Is that AI?
It is not AI. It just came straight from my mouth. When was that? Like 2008? No, 2004. I can't remember.
It lives on YouTube.
It's on my YouTube channel.
Okay, but let's back
it.
up to you graduate dental school. And then your work only takes up 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
Only 70.
Yeah.
What was your wife's face when she's like, finally 50 more hours a week with Lance and the family, and you're like, not so fast. Hold on. Check out this sport. I'll be in Kona.
Well, I was like pudgy and soft and a big boy. So she was like,
she was encouraging.
She was okay with me trying to be more physical, So, and
Fair
be
enough.
more fit.
Yep.
So that helped. Once my kids got to be teenagers, it was busy. It got busy again. So I didn't do.
Is this like going to see their stuff and going driving them all over the place?
I didn't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
Being a father was kind of the most important thing to me in my entire life. And so I didn't want to miss games. I didn't want to miss recitals. I didn't want to miss plays. I didn't want to miss stuff.
I'm moving into that phase where it's like, I think yesterday, I drove, if you count the amount of times I was in the car, like driving around, it was like 5 hours during the workday that I was just driving around.
Just driving. Yes.
Just driving things around, or like running errands. I'm like, holy crap.
Yep.
My day was over. It was unbelievable. Anyway, sorry.
So we have this listener that asked a question. You guys are all fathers. How do you keep fat? Well, right now I am fairly fit and fast comparatively in my life, not comparatively to you suckers.
He's looking good, folks. Trust me.
He is looking so good.
And part of the reason,
Hold your horses.
Oh yeah,
Hold your horses.
Stand back. I'm taking Dylan. So part of the reason why I'm fit and fast right now is all my kids are adults. They're out of the house. They don't live with me anymore. Plus, I don't have a job. So I don't have a job to focus on. And my kids' involvement with my kids is all fun stuff relatively. So my time commitment just went down drastically because my kids are all adults. So obviously, my oldest kid is 29. My youngest is almost 25. So they're all out of the house and all adults. They all do their own thing. And so
you do
time
prioritize cycling over
and I do. I
drinking
can now. Yes.
Drugs.
Right. So I try to get on my bike and do more stuff. So I don't know how much help that is to the listener because I had a real.
True.
Here's some advice: make your kids age 29 years.
Perfect. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe the advice is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
That it does change. I did have a few years in triathlon where I was actually fit and fast when my kids were not teenagers when they were younger, and there wasn't quite as much stuff for me to go through. And maybe that's just the way my family did it. I also had a stay-at-home wife, and that made a difference too.
True.
So
those first 3 months are really tough. Sometimes it might even be 4 or 5, 6 months before you start to establish a little bit of a routine. So just really manage your expectations for those first 3 months, and just know that that's not going to be the way it is forever. And just take the little wins where you can get them. And that if that's just going for a walk or a jog or jumping on a trainer. For me, I really didn't feel comfortable, even though I would sometimes get the hall pass to go do it. I didn't feel comfortable going on a 3 or 4 hour ride.
Guilty the whole time.
Exactly. Cause knowing that they're completely exhausted and shelled from being up all throughout the night, having to feed. Cause from a guy's perspective for that first, 3, 4, 5 months, there's nothing you can do. They need their mom, they need to nurse and do all this stuff. And then once you kind of start to transition into bottles and stuff like that, you can help out a little bit through the night. But it's one of those things where you almost feel guilty because you're getting sleep, and then you're going to feel guilty because you're going to go on a ride, and you're feeling guilty because you get to go to work and you get to manage your schedule how you want to. I guess everybody's a little bit different. That's just how I felt. So,
but that moment when you get back from that 3 hour long ride, and you're like, oh, I am so beat. I gotta go get in the hot tub. Don't hand me that thing. Oh man,
take a nap
I did find that, of course, after a workout, I'm way more well-adjusted. I'm way more patient. I'm way more willing to deal with whatever was coming from the kids.
Oh, you want to play
wife.
trucks on a table and just roll them around with your hand? I'm in.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, you hit on a very good point. I was the same way. I need to have fitness in my life. That's kind of how I balance everything, because my life can get pretty chaotic sometimes because I have problems saying no to certain things and take on way too many things. And you're all of a sudden oh, my brain's going to explode. Going for a ride makes all that go away, and it settles things down and helps me get back into my focus mode. Being able to go do that and then come back to help with the kids, just like you said, was awesome.
Yeah.
So, and there's
more patient, more well-adjusted.
It's not ideal. You don't get to go see beautiful things and do fun stuff outside, but riding on a trainer can give you that same sense of physical fitness and some mental relief and all that other stuff. And it doesn't have to be something where you're on the trainer for long periods of time. And as a matter of fact, there were times, and I've still done it. No, it's been a minute now, but if I wanted to get 3 hours in, I would ride 3 different times throughout the day. Get up early, get an hour in, and go do all the things, help out with the family. And then maybe when a kid's taking a nap or something like that, or it's during the middle of the day, go ride for another hour. And then in the evening, when everything's calmed down and everybody's kind of in their place, go ride again. Yep. I've done that many times. And that works too.
The other thing I did, which I think about it now, and I'm so ridiculous, but when my kids were busier, I would take them to soccer practice.
Yeah, go ride.
I would run laps around the track while my kid, all the other parents are sitting in their cars or sitting in the stands, and I'm running laps as my daughter was out there practicing.
Yeah.
So almost every swim meet, I bring like go
Bring
for a
your
run,
shoes.
and my wife does too, and it's super nice because
there's downtime.
There's swim meets, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You just hop in and start doing laps.
I wish I could swim. I actually have always like threatened to be like, oh, they'll give me a lane. They'll give me a lane with all these little kids wearing swimsuits. That's a good idea. No, I just go for a run. I just put the running shoes on and go. I know like every pool that we go to, I know like where to go run and what to do and where the tracks are and all that stuff. It's
me doing those things. It did prevent me from wanting to be the soccer coach or the swimming coach. I never wanted to commit myself to being part of the leadership of the team that my kids were on because I
wanted to do your own thing.
I was selfish about my time.
Yeah.
Okay, answer this question though. When you're running laps around your kids' soccer practice and you're coming up to where their whole team is and you think they might be looking at you, does your pace go up?
Oh yeah.
Does your form improve?
That's right. My
I'm trying to remember.
my shorts get a little tighter.
I feel.
Wait a minute.
I feel like there was this one. Someone was like, we always like threatened to take a bike trainer out to like the soccer game. It was always
set
like
it
the
up
threat.
at the end.
But I swear there was someone that did it, and I can't remember who it was. I think like one of the moms that like I used to do triathlon training with or something like that. Anyway, that's a bold move right there.
That is a bold move.
And if our listeners do that, you have to like write us and tell us about it.
I brought a trainer on
I would
the
just
sidelines.
love it just to see someone just like set up and be like, next week's I'm bringing one too, and we'll trade, like we'll do it together. Like I would just so
pretty soon you got a whole spin class on the
Right?
sidelines. It's perfect.
I
What's
know.
going on?
So for that age, my personal recommendation is just find some consistency and don't like try and focus on the volume. Just be consistent and find those little wins and know that it's just a small snapshot in time, and make sure that your priorities are set right too, because that time goes by really fast.
Yep.
Like faster than you're ever going to know. If you're like, when you're in it in the very beginning, like, oh my gosh, this is never going to end. Is this the rest of my life? No. And before you know it, your kids are going to be gone and off to college, and you're going to be like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
How did that happen? So, you know,
like actual fitness impact of you stepping back and taking time off. It would be like if you had a major injury and surgery and recovery.
That's
and like,
exactly
I
right.
lost a year of cycling. Like you're going to come back.
You're going to come back.
yeah. Ebbs and flows, baby.
Yeah.
And can I say one thing? If you're
No.
wondering, because I know a lot of expectant parents in the next month or so, so
Okay.
it's super exciting because they're competitive cyclists, and the question of
you're like your life is about to go to shit.
It's ending for you.
no,
Okay.
I would
Okay.
just the principle of if it's your first kid, from their birth to year, they're 1 year old now. That first year, you have no idea what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And I think we can all agree.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
then from year 1 to year 2, you have some sort of idea what to do with, a 0-year-old.
Mhm.
And then as soon as they turn 2, you're like, cool, now I'm good at 1-year-olds. So the whole time they're growing, you have no idea what to do or how to manage it, but you learned how to do it over the previous year. So if you do have the second one, it's not as hard. You already have some experience in that. But it like give yourself extra space. Like, okay, I knew how to do this a month ago when they didn't know how to stand and run around and get in trouble. But now I got to adapt. Like, oh, now they're going to put fingers in my trainer as it's spinning. I got to figure something else out.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I definitely feel like there's that like the second one is almost a little bit better in a lot of ways. And for one, yeah, you have some experience in what to expect. And then also like the house is set up a certain way where maybe you have plug covers or whatever it is. And then the one thing that I noticed was like with 2 kids, it felt more balanced. Like I would always take like the older kid, my wife would take the baby or whatever. And it just felt like, oh, there's a little bit of balance here. Like Matt's not just like screwing around going for a bike ride. Like he's taking care of a kid that needs taken care of. So that felt like you talked about this, like feeling super guilty doing whatever, like having the 2 kids was a nice sweet spot to be like, okay, we're both doing something. We're both working.
Yeah.
Well, plus your bar lowers too for your personal standards.
Also,
so,
yes.
So if you're running laps at the park and you look over and your kid's eating dirt, first kid you might have to stop and go talk to the second kid.
No. Oh, man.
3 more laps.
figure
You're
it out.
fine.
Yeah. Oh,
Looks like good dirt.
good. Oh, he's eating dirt. We're good for a little while. No, that's a good thing.
Colloidal minerals. Yeah. Chow down. So again, you get through that infant stage, that newborn stage, and 6 months to a year, you start to develop a routine, and then it starts to become a lot easier. But to Dylan's point, it's always changing. And that first one's like, oh my gosh, now this, and yeah,
like month to month in that first year. Right?
Yeah. So, how about once you kind of get out of that phase, and then you're kind of just dealing with more of a family mode, and maybe now you've got multiple kids, and kind of alluding to the second question that was asked of us, how are you balancing your family life with your training and your racing?
It's a mess.
Am I supposed to?
I think
that's a common theme. That's interesting. How do you balance it? Because it is difficult. It really is difficult to balance it, especially when the kids are active and busy.
Some of those same aspects where it's like, I still want my wife to get out and do a run because it's more like she feels better, everyone feels better, and she wants me to train also. Other things like kind of being like, oh, I'm going to do this 100-day whatever challenge. Like she knows that there's a lot of days she's going to come home from work and I'll be in the garage. Like she'll look over, I'll be on the bike and I'll be like, oh, I got 24 minutes left or whatever it is, right? Like being on board and knowing agreeing with your partner about like, oh, this whatever block of time is sort of important, or we have kind of roughly agreed that you can go for this thing or whatever. I think that's huge. So getting that stuff established, and that's kind of regardless of age. I mean, I think newborns, you kind of have to take another step back, but like kind of regardless of age, I think if you have your partner agreeing on like, yeah, you should do this, you should try this, that helps a lot.
Yeah, having good communication is going to be super key there, and making sure that you're giving and taking. It's never going to be perfect, but having that communication in place for me played a huge role. There is something that I've seen people do, and my wife and I have done it kind of to a certain bit of a degree, but not to this extent. But I've multiple couples, partners, husband, wife, teams, whatever it might be, have done this thing where like, all right, this is your year. You get to focus on what you want to do. And maybe you do a little bit of training leading up to that. But for that full year, you're in the A spot. Like your schedule gets put on the calendar first and everything else gets filled in behind that. And then they will go and try and achieve all of their goals in that year. And then the next year, the other spouse or partner will jump in and they're in the position.
You have to have an understanding spouse to do that plan.
Yeah.
Sorry, babe. I got too many gains this year. I gotta let it ride.
Gains coming.
Yeah. But I've done that to a certain degree. Not like fully, but like my wife has had stuff where she's like, all right, we're doing this thing this year where we're doing, I don't know, like half marathons. She's going to try and do like 8 of them in a year or something like that, or these trail series or all these different things. Yeah. And like, it was important to her. I'm like, all right, you get to like call your shots. So like on the weekends, I will take care of the kids. You go do your runs with your friends. And then as soon as you're done, if there's time in the schedule, I'll make it happen for me. But you go do your stuff, then family, and then I kind of fill in everything else with my riding. And it worked out pretty well, but it does take a lot of planning. It does take a lot of good communication. So
I don't think that I've ever done that, like where it's like this calendar is yours, but we have done this like, oh, well, you're training for an Ironman. There's this priority here.
Yeah.
And my wife, same thing. Like she's trained for marathons and it's like, here's your training plan. Like the training plan is important. Like that's top priority for, and our family does kind of like work around it.
Yeah.
So same kind of concept. And it does work having everyone agree on the goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
what about you guys?
Be independently wealthy, quit your job, and give up on religion.
Invest in my new coin. Dropping today.
Look at my meme coin dropping today.
It's always going to have bumps in the roads. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to go the way that you want it. And if it does, there's going to be collateral damage. We'll just say that. And it can, and we've all been there. I'm sure you've been there at some point in time. I can for sure tell you I've been there. Like when I've made that a priority over my wife or my family or events or whatnot, she's like,
something suffers.
Yeah. You're going to go ride for 3 hours with your friends and you're not going to your daughter's soccer game.
Yeah.
That does not sit well.
No.
Granted, I love going to my kids' soccer games, but sometimes like, I don't want to go drive for 2 hours to watch some game that's going to be crappy. That's just kind of like a scrimmage kind of thing. And then I'm like, I'm just going to go ride. I'm still going to catch flack for that. So
yes, you are.
You gotta pick your battles.
Double down on that.
Yeah.
It is not worth missing your kids' stuff.
No.
I have a great relationship with my adult kids. That I have found that's kind of unique. Not everybody does. Sometimes there's some kind of issue or problem where your relationship with your own kid falls apart and they just don't want anything to do with you. That That has not happened with me. And I think part of that is because I tried to be a very present father. Yep. I didn't want to miss stuff.
Yep.
My two daughters were in theater. And, sometimes those high school plays are trash.
What do you mean sometimes?
But
they're great. We love all of it.
But my daughters, okay, I went to every performance.
Yeah.
If they did 10 runs on a play, if they did 10 performances, I went to every performance.
Yeah.
Just, I wanted them to know that they were loved and supported and that I was there for them. And I gave up on a lot. I gave up a lot of personal stuff so that I wouldn't miss my kids' stuff.
Parent pro tip right here. Help your children choose their sports wisely. Matt,
here are your options: cycling.
Matt stepped out to go use the powder room, if you will. He'll be back in just a second. But his kids are swimming. Oh my gosh, is that a commitment? You're driving all over the place and they're there all day long, and you get to watch them for just sometimes 30 seconds. And that's a huge time commitment. Matt's going to walk back in and he can speak to this in just a second. But, and another example is like my son started doing track and field last year, and I made the mistake of like, all right, I'm going to go watch his track meet, not realizing that it was like 4 hours long.
Yeah.
Holy crap. And like he chose like 3 different events, and one was the very first event, one was in the middle of the meet, and one was at the very end. I'm like, dude,
track is the worst.
Yeah,
track is hard.
Swimming, things run on time.
Yeah,
which is nice.
I was just speaking to
you
this.
only
Like,
see this,
you don't get to see them swim very long, but you still have to be there for the entire meet, right?
Yeah.
So like you get to maybe see your kids swim for a minute or 2 or 5 if you're lucky, and then you're there for how many hours?
One thing that I've told a lot of parents, because like coached all these things, is like the best thing that you can. I mean, there's 2 ways to do it. You can kind of be there and try to watch your kid for the 30 seconds, whatever. Or you can like try to get involved with the entire team and know all the kids that are on the team and know what their times are and cheer for them and all this stuff. And then it's almost like, oh, there's some person that I'm cheering for the entire 4-hour block.
Sure.
That's pretty fun. And we've really enjoyed that. It takes commitment and takes time, right? Because it's like, we've been following this same group of kids for whatever it is, like 4 or 5 years now. And so then you start to really kind of get invested in cheering for everyone. It's a little harder when it's like, oh, spring track is for, these 2 or 3 months out of the year. You're not going to know the 200 kids that are out there. There's no way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when I go to these same track meets, because I coach, I know all these kids. And even though I'm more of like a volunteer assistant coach for track, it's like I just know all these kids. I'm cheering for all of them. It seems to move a little bit faster.
Sure.
I don't get bored at track meets because I'm
but it
all
doesn't
in on it.
bode well for your training schedule.
No.
To my point, while you were using the restroom, was just help your kids pick the right sports that are going to be a little bit more time optimized so that you can make it work for everybody.
Volleyball tournaments.
Those take lots of time because they're traveling all over the place. I mean, baseball for my son was great. Now I was the coach of that, so that was a big time commitment because I'm coaching, 3 practices a week and a game or 2 a week, and again that can be a big time suck. But if I wasn't, and there was the last season that he played, because I was injured and bouncing, trying to recover and all that other stuff. But he was coached by somebody else, and it was a far less commitment on my end. It was kind of fun because I could go watch him play, and I didn't have to like have those many hours of investment.
Is he going to do track this spring?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
So. Anyhow,
he's fast 400 runner.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other pro tips or things that you've done during your parenting years, like that helped you kind of find the time to get the training in? I mean, the low hanging fruit is just have a trainer set up because it's there, it's ready to go. Just get up early, get it done, get it out of the way, so that you don't have to think about it for the rest of the day or have some kid related thing pop up that's going to screw up your schedule. What's something else that you guys did?
You can try to use those downtimes, like Jake was saying. Like his son had, a race in the beginning of the meet, and then whatever towards the end. If you can sneak off in the middle and go get a bike ride in, I know that you're laughing. I'm dead serious. That's why
I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. You're in full kit.
There's been a few times where my wife was driving there anyway, so she'll drive the kids to their sport, and I will leave accordingly to how long I think it's going to take, and I'll ride there.
Yeah.
And I'll say, hey, I don't really want to be walking around in my kit. And the sideline parents
start flexing.
So she would bring me like a pair of sweatpants and a jacket that I could throw on. It was good. And then when it was over, then I would go ride again. I can remember times going to the beach as well when our kids were little. And when we lived in Southern California, it was one of those things where I could ride there and then do the whole beachy thing and ride back. Or sometimes just if time was was kind of crunched and whatnot, we would drive to the beach and I would take my bike there on the rack and whatnot. We would go do all the beach stuff, bike inside the car at that point in time, so it didn't get ripped off. And then when we were done, she would drive home and then I would go for my ride that would eventually end up at home. And it was just one of those things where I was a part of everything that the family was doing, just except I wasn't there for the ride home, but that was fine. And the kids were all worn out. They were tired and everybody was just going to go home and get cleaned up and they're just going to go sit on the couch and relax. And then dad rolls up at whatever time. And that worked out really well.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as you don't spend your beach time on your phone looking at your metrics. How do I do on this ride? Oh, I gotta do a couple more efforts.
Yeah. Starting all of your Strava segments for the ride home. Yeah.
Hang on, someone took my KOM.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. How do I get this on the way home?
Yeah. Do you guys have any other hacks or little tips that you've used or employed over your time?
Trainer's key for me, right? Because you don't have to worry about the weather. Like as long as using the trainer isn't going to wake anyone up, if it's a part in your house, like just go hop on it. And at one point, we even had 2 trainers side by side, which was great. So my wife and I could ride and hold hands together, and that lasted all of a month. No, I think she was recovering from a knee thing, so she's like, I need to get some cycling time, and we couldn't just leave the house, so it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
When my kids were really young too, where I lived, there was we were talking this kind of a little bit yesterday, but there's group rides every single day of the week, and it's really nice to have these, like, it's just nobody really organizes them. Nobody puts anything out there to the world. It's just been like a long-standing tradition. Like, that ride leaves at this place at this time, and this is the route. And you kind of know who's going to show up, and you can kind of pick accordingly. When our kids were young and they weren't fully engrossed in sports for a long period of time, I know that I could get up at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning and then be out the door at 8 o'clock to go do this ride. And I would even try and get some of my base miles in before that. So I would leave a little bit earlier when the kids were probably still in bed or just, watching cartoons doing their thing, go get my little bit of ride in, jump on that ride, go do however long that was and be home, and know that I just got in a fantastic workout, good volume. I'm home at like 10:30 when everything's kind of starting to ramp up to go do fun things for the day. And I can be fully participating in the family activities and got my ride done. That's and brilliant. The rest of the day is just good to go. So if you can find like a structured, organized ride that you can go jump on and that that it's on the calendar, it's consistent, it's reliable, you got people to ride with, it's going to push you and do all those fun things, that works out really well. We need more of those around here.
Yeah, we need more of that.
Anything else, boys?
No, well, let me tell you this. My 10-year-old saw me riding on Zwift, pretty consistently since December. And he's like, I want to do that. It's like, oh, okay. Okay. So I got that Zwift cog. Yeah. I hate it because if I try to use my bike on it, it's just loud. It's just loud. But his bike is the 8-speed rear. So I just slap it on and it works. So anyway, overpriced, but he can get on Zwift now and do the virtual shifting.
Nice.
And it's great because he's like, I want to go for 25 minutes. I'm like, perfect. Like, I'll put him on a little route and you can push whatever buttons you want. And he does this thing where he'll soft pedal it and then just sprint and then be like, I'm so tired. Like, single tear coming down my face. Like, you have mastered Zwift in one session.
That's it.
That's awesome.
Another thing that you can consider too that will really help you with your time management, making sure that you're kind of checking all of the boxes. Get a coach or follow a training program based on the recommendation of a coach, so that like, all right, based on the fact that I am crunched for time and I need to get things done, like, figure out a program. If you're working with a coach that can write up something good, figure out a program that's going to be as optimized as it possibly can, so that you can hit the most important parts of your workout, and anything else on top of that's just like icing on the cake.
Let me ask you this. Besides coach and a trainer, if you know you have a kid on the way, is there any other physical equipment that you should have on hand that would help you in that first year or two? Like, what else could you go get that would be like, oh, I'm so glad I have this in the house?
Oh, that's probably some basic things like off the bike kind of stuff, like some dumbbells, I think is good just to do some off the bike stuff, but that's not really going to help you if you're trying to build up your overall fitness and endurance for being fast on the bike. Gosh, I don't know. I mean, there are other ways that you can get a really good workout, like a treadmill. Like, I'm not a runner and I don't want to run, but you can get a hell of a workout in 30-minute treadmill workout. Maybe, or like a rowing machine.
The kid trailer for your bike.
Yep.
You can take them out.
Oh, yeah. That's another good one too.
Yeah.
Well,
Jogging stroller.
Jogging stroller and a kid trailer. I did the Swamis ride in San Diego one year, and there was a dude with a bike seat on the back of his bike and his 3-year-old on the back. And he was on an e-bike, but he kept up with the ride on the Swami ride with his 3-year-old strapped to a bike seat. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. Wow. We had a bike trailer for our kids when they were younger. And when we just had 2, I would put both of them in there. And then my wife would be on her bike with nothing. And those bike trailers slow you down. So it really balances thing out. And we used to live at the top of a hill too. And now I'm like, all right, I'm going to go as hard up this thing as I freaking can. And I've got a lot of weight back there. And we would ride to the grocery store sometimes just to get a workout. And it was fun for the kids and whatnot. So I've got all that stuff in there because my wife doesn't have a bag with her. She's not pulling anything. I've got the groceries in there. I got a gallon of milk and cans of this and produce that. So I'm pulling a fair amount of weight up this hill and like, all right, let's go. So you're racing your wife. So that was kind of fun.
I love it.
I had probably that same bike trailer because I think everyone gets one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think my kid was 2.5, and I did one of those kiddical mass rides, which are awesome.
Yeah.
You're biking around with everyone and their kids. And I found out why this trailer had a recall on it.
Oh no!
Because the arm that you clip in that appears to be clipped in, but is not clipped in. So at one point over in St. John's, it unclipped and the trailer went and flipped on its roof and skidded to a stop, and everyone freaked out. But I'm really by the book. I'm like, okay, we're gonna put you in. You got the shoulder harness and your helmet.
Kid's like, sweet, Dad, do it again.
Kid thought it was a fun ride, and I'm the only one there not paying. I would flip him back over.
Love it.
He's fine. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Well, and again, those bike trainers, those things can be pretty magical in that the kids love that. And it provides resistance in a workout. So if you plan the ride accordingly, you can get a good workout. And then the biggest thing, the overlying thing of all of this is if you take the kid out for a ride, and let's say if you got just one or maybe you got 2 of them in there, it gives your significant other a chance to have that downtime. So you're kind of optimizing, you're getting the brownie points because, you're giving them the free time and you're going on a ride. The kids are having fun. You're riding your bike. Everybody wins in that situation.
Yeah, that's win-win. I used to know a guy that he swore the only way he could get his newborn to sleep is if he puts him in the car and goes for a drive to get a burger from the drive-thru.
That's the only thing other direction you could go.
Yeah. This will be my last recommendation too. Commute to work on your bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
If you can make that work, if that works into your schedule and you can ride your bike to work, if you ride, if you leave to go to work a little bit early, get a little bit of a workout in, you can do that too. Granted, you're probably going to be carrying a backpack, but who cares? You're riding your bike and you're getting a workout. You're elevating your heart rate. It's all good. And then you get a ride on the way home too. And you're going to be in a happy, good mood when you get home.
Yep.
Ready to help.
That's a great tip.
Optimize everywhere you possibly can.
Unless you work from home.
Yeah. Which is everyone, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, set your trainer in front of a computer, work from home. So any other things that you guys want to put out there for the folks?
That's good.
I think.
Can I just say, definitely reach out to your friends if you need help. Everyone's here to help with your newborn. And if you need something, guys, we're underwater on this. Can someone come watch the kid for an hour? Yeah, everyone just ask. Yeah, we're there for you.
Yeah, that's also true. Very true.
Yep. Stay motivated, manage your time, manage your expectations, communicate with your significant other, and just find all the little wins that you possibly can and know that it will get easier at some point in time. And it's going to ebb and flow. It's going to be up and down and all around. And as long as you remember what's most important, you'll be fine.
Perfect.
I think
your TSS. TSS is the most important.
1,000 a week.
Sweet. Let's move on to one last thing. Matt?
I don't have that much because I don't know if I'm going to get a video out this week.
What are you working on?
I know.
What's in the hopper? You got a couple maybe?
I have this. I have a plan for a video, and it's basically Armin. It's kind of like Apple is turning into Garmin watch, and Garmin's turning into Apple with a lot of the things that they're doing that are similar. Where Apple is working on cycling features, is including power meters and things like that, including maps and routing and stuff like that. Garmin also making like a more, adding, let's see, what is Garmin doing that's similar to Apple? For one, they actually made one of their Venue watches is like this square Apple clone watch.
Oh, geez.
It's a nightmare. But like they've also done things like add microphone and speaker and a dive computer, which again, all of that stuff is similar to what the Apple Watch Ultra does. So I have this video that's not flushed out. Obviously, you can tell by the way I'm talking about it, that's not very flushed out. where we talk about like, okay, Apple's melting or merging into what Garmin's doing. Garmin's merging into what Apple's doing. Yeah, I don't know. I need help flushing out that video, but that's one of the videos I want to work on. The other video, I ran downtown Portland the other day and had a whole bunch of watches, like 4 or 5 watches, and was testing and looking at the data. And there's something called multi-band GPS on a lot of the watches that are out there, which is great because you can connect to multiple satellite systems and you can connect to multiple frequencies on those satellites. But from what I can tell, looking at it doesn't, I think it's overrated, basically. Everyone feels like they need to have that on their watch, but you don't. It's just not that helpful. Anyway, so those are the 2 videos I got to figure out. I'd love to get those recorded sometime, but I don't have them like figured out in my mind yet. And so I probably won't have a video this week.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever phoned it in on a video?
What
do you guys think he can? Do you think he has that speed?
Wait a minute.
I don't think he can.
Which video isn't phoned in? I'm always like, I'm
That's
sick
your
of
phoning it in speed?
I always get to a point working on a video and I'm like, I am sick of this. I am never looking at this watch again. I am done. Like,
anyway, here's 8 minutes of perfection.
Exactly.
Yeah. And 24 minutes of complete crap.
You know, gosh, what, about 9 weeks out? Got the April 1st thing that comes up every year.
Which I also don't have a plan for. Usually it's like, I'll have some idea, like, halfway through the year, I'll have some idea. I'll save that for April 1st. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'll do something. I'll come up with something. I don't know.
68 days, just checked. So,
all right.
Figure it out, Matt. Damn it.
All right.
Wait, cool. Sounds good. Dylan, one last thing for me, bud.
Oh, check out your video.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, please.
Maybe. I would tell people to search for Thick Crit Daddies, but I don't know how to spell it. I don't know. It changes.
THIQ.
THIQ. It'll probably.
I'm going to search for thick daddies on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Rip your targeted ads.
I'm pretty sure that I'm going to find what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dylan, do you have anything in the works right now? You've got to have some sort of mental brain project with like video. I mean,
I'll be right back.
Do you have some fun stuff?
What do you have planned for 2025?
Oh,
I mean, I'm sure you don't have a full like schedule, but you've got some ideas of things that you want to do because you've always got that creative touch on stuff, and you've got like ideas.
I really want to do a Tabor Unchained video.
Yeah,
I really want to.
That would be awesome.
And I kind of have some pieces in my head about it, and one big piece was, I need that camera moto. Like, I want the exact equipment they're using on Tour de France.
Yeah.
For myself, because then it will look authentic. Like, if you handhold an iPhone, it's not going to look like the TV. So
you need a driver and somebody sitting on the back working the camera.
I met a guy on one of the Valkyr group rides who's a dad of one of the younger riders. And he's like, oh yeah, I used to work with that BMW camera car. He's like, oh yeah, I know all the car rigging people. And he has an electric moto. It's like, would you be down to do this? He's like, hell yeah.
And also it'd be nice to get some behind the scenes of that stuff.
That'd
like
be awesome.
You need to send me a message when you need help with like behind the scenes footage or whatever. Like, you let me know. I'll bring a camera.
Love it.
I work for cheap.
So I
just want to see
I would love to do a Tabor video where like it's every time up that hill, it's only 2 minutes long, but you can make it look like it's a mountain stage with all the crowd there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a long shot. I've got a couple bikes I'm really excited about painting.
Oh,
I can't
yeah.
tell
We
you
haven't talked
anything
about
about that, but they're for 2 really, really exceptional riders.
Okay.
And I'm very excited to get those done and to not screw them up like I always do. And then, as always, Team Epic, East Portland Youth Cycling. Oh my God, those kids are so strong.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Unfair.
It's frightening. Like, even on their rest days, I wouldn't be able to keep up with them. So I think this is like, we're going to see some awesome stuff this year.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Are you going to be doing PR this year?
Yes.
So we'll see some PR videos, I'm hoping, that it's the normal?
Sure. I'll make one.
Do something.
Yeah. I kind of go back and forth for like, does anyone need to see this? Sometimes it's fun if something happens, you're like, hey, there's a video of it.
Yeah, but the reason you started making this stuff was like post stuff and then have people, like comment and give instruction and like learn from it. Like go back to your roots. There's still reason to post stuff. Don't feel like everything has to be.
Are you saying
Unchained.
I have room for improvement as a cyclist?
I'm saying that like phone it in. Phone it in.
Yes, that's what I wanted to hear.
1 hour editing max.
Yeah.
Love it. Sweet. Looking forward to all of that. Should be fun. Yep.
Happy birthday to my middle child tomorrow,
Hey-o.
the 24th.
Wow,
Kelty turns 28. I think she turns 28 tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah. So happy
We'll fix that
birthday,
in post.
Kelty.
We'll get it.
Yeah. And my wife's birthday is next week, too. And I'm not telling you how old she is, 57.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So, yeah, so exciting for that. So happy birthday, wonderful women in my life. Also, we have the World Championship cyclocross race coming up. That is next week. I think the men's elite is on Friday.
Am I going to lose my
Saturday.
bet that whatever my bet was about MVP winning everything?
MVP is still slated to be there, but he hasn't raced in like a month.
But does that matter?
Does that
I
mean,
don't think it matters.
Does that still mean that if he still wins everything when he does race?
He does. Yeah.
I don't know what my bet was.
Is Wout going or did he?
Wout's not going.
He's done. He's
Yeah.
full, like
Yeah.
getting ready for the classics. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Where's that streaming?
Great question. The UCI generally streams their races live.
On like UCI.com or somewhere.
Or on YouTube.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
like
should be able
that.
to find that stuff. Anyway.
Cool.
Lance has burned all his matches.
Lance burned all his matches.
He's done.
That was Dylan.
All right. My one last thing is, hey, guess what, guys? The lab is moving again.
What?
Yeah, we're moving into our new space. It's official now, and we're moving a full whopping one suite over. So.
Okay. So people don't have to freak out too much.
Yep.
Just sliding over one.
Sliding over one suite, basically doubling our square footage.
Okay.
Pretty much. So kind of excited about that. It's going to be pretty neat. And the unique part about this is that the space that we're moving into, despite this building being, I think it's like 20 years old or something like that, they never developed it. It's still raw concrete floor, and it's just studded walls with like insulation in there. And they've been using it for just like general storage for all of their property. So there's a bunch of crap in there, but they were super cool to work with me. They've loved what we've brought to the center, and it's a good location for us. And we've got this basic clean slate, and I've got this great idea of all the things that we want to put in there. So it's going to be a really cool, fun little shop. It's going to have some cool stuff.
How are you going to mock up the build out? Are you using a tool for that? Or you just get some ideas?
I mean, there's all kinds of apps that you can do for like the 3D modeling and rendering. I have not done any of that. I probably should. That'd probably be the wise thing. I've just been using my iPad and some graphing paper looking stuff to try and come up with some sort of a scaled model.
I'm curious to see. I'm excited to see what you're going to do in that space. So
it should be
the preview.
Yeah,
before.
it should be interesting. Lance will tell you, like, the number one thing that I'm most excited about is not having
the floor.
The floors. I don't know. The floors have always driven me nuts.
The floors have driven Jake nuts.
Yeah, but that aside, it's what I'm most looking forward to is just going to be having high ceilings, and we're going to do some kind of cool lighting in there.
Cool.
And we're going to do some cool stuff on the floors as well. The service space is going to be about twice the size of what they're working with right now, because the service work during the summers has just been absolutely insane. Yeah. We barely survived last year, but we made it work. And then the cool part about it is we're going to have a dedicated space. At least we're going to try it again. We had this when we first moved into the other space, but then it worked great until it didn't, because we just needed more space, and then we got kicked out of there. But we're going to have a full studio in there, and the purpose behind the studio is going to be having it always set up to create all kinds of fun content. And hopefully once I get everything kind of settled down, that will be my number one job, is just working on content creation and doing fun stuff. So that should be fun. Kind of excited about that. Yeah. If you ever want to come in there and poke fun or make fun or do fun things with us or shoot videos, Dylan, you're more than welcome to use it anytime you want. And same for Matt too.
You guys are like living the 19-year-old millennial dream. Yoga model, vlogger, content creator.
That's funny. Anyway, yeah, kind of having fun with that whole process, but it's going to be, probably about 3 months before it's all done. Hopefully I'm going to be meeting with the contractors or contractor and all of the other people to kind of get an idea of when it's going to be ready. But that's based on what I've been told. It can be about that long, about 3 months. So
exciting.
Yeah. I think that's it. You guys done? You guys got anything else to say? No?
No.
All right, cool. Let's call it done. Lance, you have fun in Tenerife. Be safe. Are you going to call in on the podcast maybe? Hopefully?
I doubt it.
Yeah?
Maybe. I will be with Ian.
Yeah.
But
you guys called in last time you were there.
We could stall this podcast, put it out like half a week from now, and then we're good.
Yeah.
The listeners won't know.
Yeah.
They don't make it. They don't make it this far into the podcast.
Nobody listens to the one last
No one
name.
listened to us.
Yeah, well, stay tuned. You'll find out more soon enough. All right, thank you everybody for listening. We do appreciate it. We will be back next week with another one of these. Until then, bye for now.
My palms used to sweat when I had to get on the highway. Now with my Camry V6, I just punch. Yeah, punch it, Margaret!